Hello, my name is Jamie Friend. Today's date is June 23rd, 2013. It's about 8:30 in the evening. I'd like to introduce my audience briefly. My wife Melita, my dad Mike, and my surrogate brother Jason. For the next couple minutes or so, I'm going to give an informative speech on why I personally feel we need more law enforcement officers with higher salaries to combat a growing drug epidemic we have in our country. Now, before I get started with that, we're supposed to do a speech in reference to something God values in the community. Well, when I think law enforcement, I can only think of one thing. That's from Matthew 5:9, which was, "Blessed be the peacemakers, for they are the children of God." Nothing brings law enforcement more than we are the peacemakers. We don't want chaos. We're the thin blue line between order and chaos. So it just kind of felt natural for me to fall into this career pathway. Now, like I said, this is about the drug epidemic we have in the country. We all know someone that's been affected by drugs, either directly or indirectly. We've seen what it can do. We see the problems it creates. How many of you have ever heard someone say, "Why are there so many police? I see so many cops, that's all I see all the time." I know I do. Being in law enforcement, that's all I hear. Why are so many of you? Let me put something in perspective for you. According to the U.S. Census website, there are approximately 17,000 police agencies in the United States. That makes up about 1.1 million employees, that's sworn-in civilian. Of that, there are approximately 765,000 sworn personnel. They're the ones doing the arrests, processing the evidence, going to court, the core of what makes police work happen. You're saying, okay, well, Jamie, that's 765,000 police. That's a lot. What's the problem with that? All right, let's go back to U.S. Census website. As of June 18th, they put the U.S. population at 316.6 million. 316.6 million, 765,000. When you do the numbers, that's less than 1% of the U.S. population. That's astronomical and ridiculous. Now, we'll use the U.S. Census website again. In 2012, stats came out for drug arrests. This is just drug arrests. Over 26,700 drug arrests. Now, that goes from people getting caught with kilos on the border to a guy with a dirty pipe in his back pocket. But what people don't really understand is the other value of what happens in drugs. How many burglaries, robberies, murders, child abuse, elder abuse, domestic violence, shoplifting, all stems from drug abuse. It's a lot. When you really take into 26,000 ain't nothing, but when you count the totality of everything it affects, it's astronomical. And then we factor in, we have court costs. These people have to go to court. Attorney fees, probation, DJS, elder care. Who wants to do that for a living? You go out on the street, every day you have a chance of running into somebody that has a dirty needle. And you get to choose from one of your favorite diseases, HIV, Hep C, or AIDS. You're going to get stuck with something. Those are the three most lethal diseases you're going to come in contact with on a daily basis. Ashley Meeks did a really good article in the La Cruza Sun back in 2011. She did a comparison of law enforcement salaries annually. Came out to an average of $34,000. All that work for $34,000 a year. That's just an average. On that pay scale, I saw in our article, it ranged from $29,000 to $86,000. Big jump from patrol to supervisor in all kinds of levels. Now, with that in mind, who wants to do that? I think personally, why should a baseball player get $565 million a year? Why should football players get these astronomical endorsements? But the guy on the street that's keeping everyone safe gets 34 maybe after taxes. What is he down to? 27,000? It's sickening. It's absolutely ridiculous. Going back to the law enforcement side, I see it every day. When I'm in this, I've made so many drug arrests in 6 years. I can see the effects of that. If you don't think that it has the effects, I concur. Would love to have anybody come out with me and do a drug arrest. It's not the marijuana we're seeing much anymore, it's the prescription pills and heroin that's really doing the damage now. Granted, marijuana is just as bad, but the real damage we're seeing is from the real hard narcotics and the prescription pills we're running into. Now, that's just a real brief introduction to this. I could talk for hours on this topic of what drug abuse can do to society, what it can do to all of us. But I would like to thank you all for sitting through this. I know it was real brief. I'd like to do more. But again, I want to thank you, Jason. I want to thank my dad, Mike. I want to thank my wife for sitting through this. And everyone have a great day. God bless.